Okay, so thanks everyone for being here for the final day. We're a little bit lighter, but that's okay. Hopefully people are jumping on the replays. So today's the day where we put this all into action, where we essentially, so far what we've covered is the importance of your values, okay? But we've also looked at beliefs. And I can safely say that for the majority of people walking around, their biggest challenge is that the beliefs and trying to resolve their ego is running on autopilot in the background, that often they never truly get stuck into their values and what's truly important to them. Okay. Does that land for everyone? Can you see what I'm saying there? We get so caught up in the busy work, in the doing, and setting up the conditions. I mean, the example that I used yesterday of, when something triggers the belief of low self-worth, I use that one because probably the two biggest belief systems that sit unconsciously for people is I'm unlovable or I'm not worthy. Those are the two biggest, most prominent, most common ones that pop up. And I mean, as we can see, like Narelle gave us a beautiful example the other day of when that is triggered, we will spend so much of our energy trying to resolve that belief system and to resolve that part of our ego that we're not focused on the end result. And I hope that you could all see that playing out in an actual, real-time example. It's okay if you're catching up on the replay. That was from day 3, I think. Yeah, we did that on day 3. So our understanding how these two things work together, your values are you, okay? Your values are fundamentally who you are. It's your heart's desires. It's the things that actually you feel wonderful when you're doing them. You get in the zone. Time stands still. They're the things that you come away feeling so satisfied. When you're caught up in your beliefs, you're caught up in like an emotional loop. That's really what it comes down to. You are in revolution. You're attracting the same circumstances, but different characters. If you've ever got out of a relationship and then found because that wasn't working and it was all their fault, and then found yourself in another relationship and you're like, wow, that, months or years down the track, it's like these same things are playing out. Well, it's not them, it's you. Same with workplaces. If you've ever quit a job because, oh, that's terrible, they don't treat me right, this doesn't happen, and then you found yourself in the next job and it's the same scenario. Okay, it's not a criticism. This is about an awareness. It's about an awareness of going, oh, hang on a sec, that's feedback to let me know that I'm caught in a loop here. I'm caught in a loop. So this really is a chance to break free from, programming. This programming was laid down before you were 6 years old. So most people are using operating systems from pre-6 years old, and that's what we're operating from. And then we're wondering why we're not achieving to our true potential. And that causes inner conflict. If you've ever had those moments of reflection and just thought to yourself, why aren't I able to pull this together? Why aren't I achieving what I know that I'm capable of? Why am I finding it so hard to go for what I know that I'd love? Then this is your answer. This week has been your answer. Okay. Before we jump into today, who's got any questions, anything that they'd like to share? I know, Kat, you had a question about how do we avoid this for our kids. Do you still have that question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay, you don't. Okay. Essentially, you don't. You cannot rob your child of being a child.
No, I know that, but like, what it means is like, so many people talk about self-worth as being when it comes down to it, like so much it boils down to self-worth. And I'm just wondering if, like, because so many people there seems to be so much more awareness around well, like this kind of inner work that we're doing, you know? And so I'm just wondering if like through more kind of mindful parenting and things like that, like why do we all suffer with self-worth issues if so much of that is sort of, you know, inground in us from our early childhood and that programming that we have? If we can then as parents have apply some of that self-awareness around the way that we behave with our children, the way that we talk to our children, the things that we say, the language that we use and things like that, can that help the next generation not have to suffer with that issue? Or, you know.
Okay, so you said something, the word that you said there is suffer. That's the word that I've caught out of there. Essentially, you cannot rob somebody of being human. Okay, you cannot like this is part of the human experience. Oscillating between the animal mind and the angelic mind is part of the human experience. However, what we can do as parents is we can lessen the degree to which they are polarized in this so that they're more able to find their way to the center. Because your intuition stops kicking in naturally after about 4-to-1 ratio. But most people that are in this room, most people that find themselves on these courses would naturally not be putting their children in there anyway. You know, these extremes of when you're working with a child that's had, you know, severe neglect and abuse and, you know, well, you know, I know that that's a label, but had very polarized and very extreme circumstances is when you've got a child that's out there. You can, you know, be aware of your language. Yeah, you can most certainly be aware of your language. And there's no perfect solution, because the thing is that the parent that is so focused on their child's self-worth, and may tend to, you know, you've got to make sure that you're then not also avoiding challenges. You know, that you're so busy pumping them up and, you know, making them feel good that you don't go into that. The best thing that you can do for a child when you're talking about self-worth, is not worry about your language and how you speak and all the rest of it. You know, just accepting that support and challenge will come both ways. I mean, I have times when I speak to my children incredibly supportively. I have times when I speak to them in a way that is like, you know, very unsupportive. You know, when they leave all their shit or you know, we've all got that with our kids, right? You know, we've got times when we support and we've got times when they're challenging, and you're not going to avoid that by trying to manipulate the environment. The best thing that you can do if you want to work on a child's self-worth is help them live inside their values. Help them work out what their values are and just support them.
But that is the mindfulness that I'm talking about. I'm not talking about like, oh, you know, only saying good things to them, or as you say, like manipulating the environment. But in actual fact, yeah, it really is that, talking to them in a way that allows them to cope with challenge, or, you know, equips them to kind of handle challenges that come their way, and teach them what this work has taught me, you know, that everything is always balanced. You know, it's not it's all here all at once, you know.
Look, the greatest thing that you can do, like, I know, you know, the greatest thing that you can do is essentially just stop and go, what is it that you really want here? Get them to just constantly be refocusing on what they want, and just be in the moment with them, you know, be present with them, you know, work through challenges. It's the rupture and repair cycle. I don't know if on the last mastermind program that we did, Tash, you were on that one, weren't you? And we spent, which we will be doing again, we looked at the 4 threats, and we looked at the rupture and repair cycle within relationships and how valuable that is. So in terms of how do you shield your kids and stop them from going through this? Well, first of all, you don't. If you rob them of that, you're robbing them of they've got to learn about the animal mind before they can transcend it into the angelic mind. They've got to master that. You know, they've got to master that. They've got to feel for themselves that this is not working.
Yeah.
Okay. And you cannot shortcut that. You cannot teach this stuff to what I'm sharing with you here about beliefs. You're irresponsible if you're teaching this to teenagers or kids. You're irresponsible because you're confusing them. You're confusing them and you're robbing them. They haven't come of age yet. They haven't come of age. Yeah.
Well, no, and that was part of the question too. It's like, well, because I know that there's like no right or wrong, or, you know, like everything, there's lessons from every experience that you have. And some of the biggest lessons you have is from some of the darkest moments that you have, you know, like that self-worth issue. I mean, for me personally, it's taken me the majority of my life of being unaware of that and just sort of, you know, having that pattern play over. Now, at least when I look at a problem and I can dig into it, I can get there faster. You know, I just have a lot more awareness than I did, say, in my 20s or my 30s or anything like that.
Okay, so there's your thing. But just, you know, just to focus back on this, to answer your question, get them attuned to their values, getting them clear on what they want. Like that is the number. So if you're concerned that your child's going to have self-worth issues, work on your own self-worth, get them focused on what they want. It's not, and that's really all you can do at this point as a parent. I mean, there's obviously other things that you can do, but in alignment with this work, that's the crux of it. And you know, and that's it, you know, like I know with my son, sometimes he comes and he's, you know, 6 years old, telling me about all the problems, and dad said this and dad said that, and I go, stop, what is it that you actually want from this situation? Goes, well, I just wanted this. Okay, well, let's focus on that. How can we create that? Kids are easy. Okay, so let's move along, unless anyone's got any other questions or anything else that they'd like to share. Is there?
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks, Donna.
You're welcome. Thanks, Kat. Okay, so daily rituals. Okay. All of this stuff is great and wonderful, and I'm sure that you've enjoyed this week, but without a way to actually put it into practice on a regular basis, your life will fall back into bad habits. Would you agree with that? Okay. Now, you will not ever delete your belief systems that are trying to pull you back into the abyss of wasting time and procrastinating and feeling terrible about yourself. Okay, that's there. Let's just accept that that's actually, this cycle ain't going anywhere. Okay, you're not broken. We don't need to delete half of you. Okay, we just need to recognize it for what it is. Okay, it's just a pre-program that's operating in the background. Okay, that's all. And just acknowledging it for what it is. Okay, it's part of you. It's part of what's formed your personality. From this here, I'm sure that there's many great driving forces that were born from that. Okay, there's many great things that I'm sure that if we went through methodically one by one, which, by the way, we will be doing this on that for those that are interested in the 8-week program. We are going to be going through this in detail and working out what are your unique patterns. Like you know, I mean, as we know through Demartini's work, is that you will express all of those patterns, but you'll have predominant ones that come through. Okay, you will have predominant ones that come through. So it's about, in the moment, transcending it and being able to lock onto, okay, actually, what is it that I actually want here? Okay, that in itself, geez, it sounds easy. You know, it sounds so easy when I say it to Kat, and it sounds so easy when I say it to you, but how do we actually do that? Well, the very first thing is that it's so important to get clear on what you want. Okay, to get clear and to have clarity around what the end result is. So if you haven't done it yet, do your values. Get to know them so clearly and understand so fundamentally what it is that you desire or what it is that's important to you. Then set goals around, set goals that are congruent with you, that that are congruent with your heart. Choose an end result that is in absolute alignment with that. Okay, as opposed to, often we set goals that are trying to seek some sort of infatuation and avoid some sort of pain. So check your goals off. Was that goal there? Was that to avoid a pain and to seek a pleasure? Or was that something that was truly in alignment? Okay, truly in alignment with who you are. Okay, so those are the first steps. You've got to have that structure in place, otherwise the next part doesn't work. Okay, and it is simply as simple as getting in the habit of making a different choice every day. Now, the way that I do this is before those moments, when I very first wake up, those moments before I even open my eyes, before I jump out of bed, I consciously just attune to my end result and just attune to, today I'm going to make choices that move me towards that end result. Okay, it's that simple. So when you wake up, you make your choices. What are my choices today? Am I going to get caught up in busy work that leads nowhere, or am I going to make my choices? Now, this doesn't have to be some, you know, like the days when I'm a full-time mum, I make the choice. I'm going to show up for my kids today. My choice is that I'm going to be a present mum. You know, and I know that people say that as parents, don't they? You know, I just want to be present, but I'm going to show up. I'm going to make choices around that. I'm going to make choices around that. When it's a work day, I'm going to make choices around that. Okay. So it's about that distinction between getting out of doing busy work, like focusing on the process versus focusing on the end result and then taking action towards that. Now, I know, okay, I'm in isolation at the moment. So this was the best potato that I could find. I actually had to pull the bits off it that were growing at the bottom of the thing, but I wanted to share this with you because this illustrates it perfectly. Okay. How you put a straw through a potato is how you do life. So this is today's challenge. Okay. And this is part of my daily ritual. Mind you, I don't do it every day now, but I do generally have potatoes and straws sitting close by in any given moment. I've got a stack of straws over here. I've usually got a bag of potatoes in the pantry. Who's done this exercise before, by the way? Anyone? Okay, cool. Oh, that's lovely that we get to do something new together. Okay, so if I'm focused on the process of how am I going to get that straw through the potato, okay, it will stop. It will jam in. Okay, I'll show you what that looks like. Should we have a look at what that looks like? Okay, I'm going to focus on the process. I'm going to look at the potato and go, okay, I'm just going to focus on, okay, getting the angle right, thinking about like what type of speed that I need it to do. And I kind of get it in, but it doesn't go all the way through. Okay, when I'm focused, I'm going to get a new straw because that's got a bit of potato in it now. When I'm focused on the end result, okay, when I'm focused on there really is no potato and I'm just going to pop this straw straight through it, okay? Well, not even I'm going to pop this straw straight through it because that again is process. I'm just going to focus on the end result of this straw being through the potato. Okay, now I'm nervous because I've never done this on camera before. So now I'm back in the process rather than being in the moment. Okay, and then we just go, oh shit, hang on. So then we just basically get the potato and then we just go and we get it through. And so how we put a straw through a potato is how we do life. Okay, this is your challenge for today. This will, in a practical sense, help you work out if right now you're being process driven or end result driven. So let this be part of your daily ritual. Let this be part of your daily ritual to remind you that when you're process focused, things don't happen. Okay, things muck up. When you're end result focused, things happen. Okay. Who's keen to go and get themselves a bag of potatoes and some straws?
Definitely.
Don't use metal straws. Just use plastic straws or paper straws is fine. Okay.
can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So it's like, so you're trying to, so you're thinking of your end result in mind. So that's your goal. So that's your goal setting. So you wake up, you get intentional about what you're working towards, knowing that each day there's steps towards that end goal. You're not going to wake up and hit
No,
your goals.
you just focus on the end result.
Focus on the end
focus
result.
on the end result. You just focus on the end result of what you've created. Okay, you just
or what you're creating.
You focus on the end result.
Yeah, so the
When
end
it's
goal.
complete, when it is complete, what does it look like? What does it feel like? You focus on the end result, not on the processes of what you have to do. Okay, not on the processes.
But you have to know the strategized steps along the way, right? Which is what you do in your daily practice, no?
When you first wake up, Kat, you're not focusing on the action, you are focusing on the end result. Okay, you're getting into that state of focusing on the end result.
Yeah, in the morning, and then you get on and do the steps, the actual strategized steps you need to do, though.
Yeah, you look at
the action.
Then look at the action. Yeah. So what that does, focusing on the end result, getting into that end result of, okay, this is what I'm creating. You know, this is what I'm creating as the end result. You get into what it looks like, what it feels like, and you just focus on that end result. And then you just tell yourself, I'm going to make choices. My choices today are going to be in alignment with that end result. Okay. Yeah, that's all you need to do at that point. Okay.
Yeah.
And then when when it comes to sitting down, I mean, Tash gave a beautiful example. Like, thanks, Tash. That was so lovely that you're moving house, and she shared the example of how she's got to go through and pack up her mum's stuff. And so she was just moving it around from room to room because it felt like, good, then I'm doing something about it.
Yeah.
But in reality, I know there's a fine line between doing things and taking action. Okay, so getting in that end result will allow you to get into that creator energy. It'll allow you to align with that, and also align consistently with the same thing. You're aligning consistently with the same thing every day. Okay, if you do that each and every day and make that decision that you're going to make your choices in alignment with your end result, things will happen incredibly quickly for you. Okay, because then in any given moment, if you catch yourself, oh, hang on a sec, I'm going into that, you go, hang on a sec, what's my end result? What is it that I want here? And what choices do I make in alignment with that? Okay, now this all works very well when it's just yourself. And that's why the conflict deconstruction, you know, there's other people that get involved in our influence our life. There's other factors that we have to account for, and this is where there's other things when it comes to working in with other people that will allow you to stay in that creator end result even when you're getting influenced with other people. Okay, so and that's what we're doing, because Tash, you're coming on and doing the next course still, aren't you? Yeah, awesome. I wasn't sure if your timetable would still work for it. So yeah, it's the same stuff that we've done before, but we're adding in some awesome new content that's going to be really helpful for you. Yeah, awesome. Okay, so does that make sense, Kat? You just focus on the end result. That's your daily ritual. Just focus on the end result. Okay.
Yeah, for sure. I was just getting clarity. I mean, yeah, no, I get it.
Okay, awesome.
I get it.
Perfect. Okay, and then the potato exercise will help you. It's just a practical exercise of, am I able to focus on the end result here, or am I getting too caught up in the process? If you're in the process, it won't work. If you're in the end result, it will. End of story. Okay. So, so look, for those that would like to jump on to the next course, usually that is, what we're going to cover in that course is essentially everything that we've done here, plus an additional focus on, communication. getting into those 4 threats that we find in the environment that trigger our stress responses. So we're going to give another layer of awareness of what's actually triggering those stress responses and potentially triggering those belief systems within the environment, because awareness is power, so that you can transcend them and actually do something about it. We're also going to be looking at personality types and enneagrams. We're going to be looking at how to clear those emotionals, those emotions that are throwing us into this as well. So essentially everything that we can do that's going to take you from there to there so that you can get focused on your end result is what we're going to be covering. We're going to be looking at some really advanced communication skills here, and essentially helping you get really clear on what it is that you want for you, what it is that you want, so that you can work towards that. Now, I have done things, I haven't done this for a little while, but my schedule does allow for me to, take on a couple of VIP clients as well at the moment. So if you're someone that has something really clear in mind, or you're working on a big project at the moment, or if you've got something quite significant in the background that is causing you a lot of stress and trauma that that you're going to need a lot of personalized work on, I do also have 2 VIP spots available as well. Okay. So if you would like to just jump on and do the course, normally that's $2,000. However, if you let me know before the end of the weekend, you can have that for $1,200, and that includes the full 8 weeks, weekly calls. It's very practical, and it also includes 2 consultations with me. And if you would like to take advantage of working one-on-one with me, that also includes, where are we? Does that include, did I say 6 or 8 calls? That includes 8 calls, and okay, that's normally $3,500, but we'll do that for $2,400. Okay, so if you would like to find out more, what I would like to do is, if you are interested, send me a personal message. For those that have worked with me before, you know what you're getting, but those that have not worked with me and haven't done this program before, flick me a personal message. Just let me know that you'd like to know more, because I'd like to find out a bit about where you're at and make sure that you're a good fit for this program. Okay. I don't just say everyone come on in, doors are open. This is a more intimate setting. This isn't just like, a big course where we have, 50 or 100 people in the room and we, squeeze you in and make it happen. This is a more personal experience. I love to know where everyone's at and where it is that you would like to go, and ensure that everything is in alignment. What we're doing here is in alignment. So jump on a call and we'll have a quick chat. Make sure that which program suits you, whether it be just the standard one, whether it be, the VIP where you get all those additional calls. And sometimes I have had in the past people that I go, hang on a sec, this program isn't for you right now. Let's just do a couple of, private sessions, because that's really all you need to get over this hurdle right now. So I will tailor that to, I will do my very best to ensure that we're tailoring this to exactly what your needs are. So I don't know of too many programs out there that actually do that. Most of them are cookie cutter, fit into our program because it's the best and just do that. No, I very much would love to know that at the end you get the exact experience that you came here for. With that, this really is a chance, to take things, take things way beyond, because up until now, you have been operating off belief systems. As soon as your stress response is triggered, your operating systems from when you're a small child are triggered, and away you go. It does cause setbacks. Okay, when you're operating from those, when those stress responses and those operating systems, you're operating from a small child. This is an opportunity for you to transcend that. This is an opportunity for you to really tap into that and transcend those operating systems that sometimes are not working for you. Okay. So there's nothing to do, but there's plenty of action to take. And if this is in alignment with where you're at right now, if this is the action that you need to take in order to get where you're going, then please get in contact with me. I'd love to have you on the next course. We start on the 21st of March. Okay, so thanks so much, everyone, for being here. Thanks for a wonderful challenge. And I look forward to working with some of you very, very soon.
Thanks, Donna.
Thanks so much, everyone. Thanks. Thank you. See ya.